everybody, what's up and welcome back to the garden. Today this is another video in our how to grow series. We are going to be talking about how to grow borage or borage, I don't know. Anyway, when it comes to borage, it's like there are definitely a couple of options to consider. I first started experimenting with this plant specifically for cut flowers, but as I've found, as I've grown it, it attracts so many pollinators and the bumblebees seem to absolutely love this stuff. So it is definitely something I always have in my garden, regardless of whether or not I'm going to use it in cut flower arrangements or not. So getting right into this, I am in Kentucky zone 6B7. Just for reference, my last frost date is usually about the first week of May. There are definitely a few options when it comes time to plant these seeds. These seeds can be easily direct sown. They can be started from transplants. They can be started indoors and transplanted outdoors. It's really up to you and what works best for you. First, you'll need to decide how you're going to start these. Obviously, you can start these indoors. I personally don't have any experience really doing that, so I am just going to skip that method, and I'm sure you can find somebody to help you here on YouTube with starting these seeds indoors if you want. But what I like to do personally is either direct sow them in the spring or start them in seed trays using kind of the winter sowing method. I should also mention that this plant does have some cold tolerance, so when to plant could depend upon where you live. For example, I've tried planting this seed in the fall as a fall planting to overwinter, and it did germinate very well, and it grew well throughout a lot of my winter temperatures. Obviously I get cold and snow here, but I did lose it when the coldest part of winter came. So if you live somewhere further south or somewhere with a milder winter temperatures, it could be a very viable option for you to plant this seed in the fall to overwinter and get earlier blooms. For me here in my zone, I'm going to stick with sowing it in the spring. So as I've already said, there are a couple of options. Borage responds extremely well to the winter sowing method. If you're unfamiliar with the winter sowing method, just type it in winter sowing borage. It should be there on YouTube from my channel. I have a video that shows you how to do it. I also have another video showing how I've used the winter sowing method with a unheated low tunnel. Basically all I did was I sowed the seeds in a seed tray, and then I put the seed tray in an unheated low tunnel outdoors about early to mid-March, maybe mid-March is when I did it, and those seeds germinated and grew exceptionally well from that planting, and I was able to transplant them into the garden in the early spring, around mid-April is when I transplanted those into the garden. From that planting, they grew exceptionally well. They flowered, they attracted the bees. It was just a really great way to grow this plant, and it was very successful. If you are planning to direct sow, I definitely suggest that you wait till the soil warms up just a little bit and sow them as soon as the soil could be worked, but I would wait about maybe 2 to 3 weeks before your last frost date in your area. Again, that will just depend on where you live and what the weather is like where you live. It seems that as long as they are kept consistently moist, that germination happens pretty quickly and is pretty good considering these seeds are on the larger side. Beyond planting and really getting those established, watering them, I really don't do too much to take care of my borage plants. They seem to thrive, even in more of the areas of my garden where the soil isn't really that great, which I'm always appreciative of. Usually here in my yard, I make sure they're in full sun, but they do get a little bit of shade in the afternoons during the hottest part of the day, which I think is also probably really beneficial as well. In general, I think this is one of the easier kind of plants that you can grow just, direct sow. A good choice for beginners, especially if you're looking to attract pollinators and that kind of thing. I know that this video was a quick one. I hope that it was helpful. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them down in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them. I always try to make these videos as helpful as possible, but I know that there are always things that I accidentally overlook or forget to say when I make these, so I'll be happy to try to answer any questions that you have or be sure to share your own experiences down there with other people, the luck you've had, or, you know, the trials and errors that you've had too, because we're all, you know, growing in different parts of the world, which I think is really cool. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the little bell icon for notifications. We'd love to have you over on the channel here. We're making new videos all the time, usually about cut flowers, but some other gardening stuff and DIY projects sometimes. It's really kind of random. I hope that you guys are having such an amazing day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys.